Tony leaves the house at last. It's a busy day on the high street, the pavement thronged with shoppers, the streets jammed with traffic. Perhaps not the best time to get talking to his colleague George, who's driving a bus.
Hello, George.
Hello, Turn. Late turn?
No, it's my day off.
Oh, blimey, it's all right for some.
How's the wife then?
I don't know, I never ask her.
Had your holidays yet?
No, next month.
Where are you going?
Don't know yet. I might stay in the garden.
Really? Yeah. You still do a lot then?
What?
Gardening?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, the peas are very good this year.
Get away.
If you ever want any, come round.
I will.
You can't beat vegetables straight out of the garden, can you?
I say, is this bus going to stay here all day?
You talking to me?
Yes, I am.
You want to watch it, mate.
Here, you better get a move on.
No, I'm running early. Let him wait.
If you don't get moving, I shall report you.
That's it. Mind out.
And George jumps down from his bus
I'll be off then.
and starts a fight with the young man. As Tony makes a sharp exit, he catches a glimpse of his reflection in the window of a menswear shop.
Hello.
The house of Maurice. And as if it had been placed there for that purpose, perfectly positioned as if perched on his head, he sees the hat. This is the hat of a modern man, the hat of Frank Sinatra. Watching himself in the window, Tony poses with the hat, now moody, now dangerous, now, oh, well, go on, it's not radio, romantic.
How about it?
Until the shop assistant catches him,
Right.
and he panics and leaves. But he can't stop thinking about that hat. If only he had the money to pay for it. So talk us through what actually happened with this script. You'd done The Rebel with Hancock,
yes.
and he wanted a follow-up film.
Correct.
Yes, but he also had this feeling that he had gone as far as he could in this country with the television. So, and I think because Sid James was made about 10 films a week, and, and he knew that he had to be famous or well known in America to be. So that's what he was secretly wanting, and the shows that we were writing for him, he didn't consider that would help him in his quest for.
He wanted an international career.
Yeah, and the thing that he did want to do just surprised the life out of us, because it was so. It was a thing about a Punch and Judy man.
Yes, which is the most British thing you can
Yeah,
possibly.
especially
He may as well have been a
yeah.
Morris man,
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. And on a windy beach in the winter in the south coast, we said, Tony, they won't know about all this in America. You know, he said, I want to do it. And we just said, well, you know, we've got work to do. Try and get some money.
We wrote three. We started 3 films. As a second film with a contract. The first film we started writing, we agreed with Tony. It was basically it was a film that was suggested to us by a Fernando picture called "The Sheep Has 5 Legs," and we didn't crib it. I don't mean that, but it's suggested. We were paying an homage to it, I think is the word. And the idea was that Tony's father, on his deathbed, there's 5 brothers, Tony and 4 others, and his father wanted the 4 brothers, who were all successful in their various businesses, careers. One was a surgeon, one was, they were very, very successful people. They must give Tony a job to give him a start in life. And gradually, over the course of the film, Tony ruins all 4 brothers.
So it's going to be a bit like Kind Hearts and Coronets.
Yeah, well, I hadn't thought of that. No. But Tony was only playing the one part, you see. He wasn't trying to do a Guinness.
Yeah.
After we started writing this, and we wrote one brother, and we were just about to start the sequence of the second brother when Tony phoned up. He said, "I've been thinking about that idea." He said, "I don't think it's right. It's not international enough." So we said, "Right, we'll do another one." Met with him again, got up with another idea about a cruise, where he goes on this terrible cruise all around the world. And we started writing that. Got about page 20. He phoned up and said he didn't think it was right. So this time we said, "Look, Tony, we'll think up another idea. We'll work it out with you." The day off, he came up with, and he said, "Yeah, that's it. That's the idea. That's marvellous." We went and said, "This time, do not ring us up after we've written about it. Wait until we finished it, then read it, then tell us what you think." 6 weeks we spent writing the film, sent it off to him, nothing. Didn't hear a word, so we knew that because he was a coward. He hated
Well, there's two of us, really, a bigger.
Two of us. He used to-
He could walk in those days as well.
But Tony used to rely on the producers to tell us if he didn't like anything. He'd never ring up and tell us. But this time, we said, "Well, you read it?" He said, "Yes." He said, "What do you think?" And we knew that he didn't want to do it. So this is when we said we've got to do something else. Can't, say, "Well, you go, and I'm going to do the Punch and Judy Man, and you go and do some television and earn some money." So we went to did a bit of television, did Comedy Playhouse. Out of Comedy Playhouse came that little piece about two rag and bone men.
Yeah, the opera, yeah.
And we, at the end of the day, we never got back writing. So this was the last thing we ever wrote for him.
Why do you think he didn't want to do it? So I've read conflicting reports on this, that he loved it, and then he didn't read it at all, and he was just sort of beginning that spiral of...
Well, I mean, we assumed
that downward spiral
we
that he was
we
set
didn't know.
upon.
We assumed that he did read it. I always assumed he thought it was too parochial again. Yeah. And that, he wanted, as you said, it's amazing that he did the rag and bone, the Punch and Judy Man.
Because it was at a point, wasn't it, in his career in which he was pretty much ostracising everyone that had been involved in getting him to the place where he was. And this is quite a difficult question, but do you think, because I don't think Hancock ever really did anything as good again after Galton and Simpson. I don't know what you think, but do you think that you made Hancock, or do you think Hancock made you, or do you think it was more symbiotic?
Well, I think you're right to say that he didn't do anything successful after that.
No.
After that, because of personal reasons for him. He's started drinking very heavily, which he never did. Strangely enough, when he was writing with us, when he was working for us, and it got out of hand. I think we used to hear terrible tales from people who had been on the set and things like that. That he was drunk most of the time, or he didn't turn up. He was just watching at the depths. He put depths on for everything and things like that. So we just heard things all the time, and we never. We met him a few years later.
We nearly did it. We nearly did something with
Yes,
him. We nearly did a musical,
Which wasn't
Oh,
that.
wow.
which had been hysterical. He couldn't sing, he couldn't dance.
And we told the composer too. He said he can't do any of these things, but he said, "Yeah, but he is good," because he said to us,
It's Leslie Vickers who wrote the musical of Noah.
and loads of other things. But he read our script and he said, "I just read it." He said, "And do you realise?" "Oh, perhaps you don't." He said, "But every line here, every word is Hancock." And we said, "Sorry, this is our work. We haven't worked with Hancock for years and years and years. This is the way we write." And he said, "But no, I can hear him doing every one of these words." And we said, "Oh, look, don't bother. I mean, we hear the terrible tales about him. We know for a start he does not like the stage. We know he can't dance. We know he can't sing." And he said, "Well, can I?" We said, "Oh, right, okay." Well, we had a meeting with him at a restaurant that we knew, We were waiting there for him, and he turned up about 2 hours late, just out of his mind, with another actor, a notorious actor, and there was a leftover from all the press that were going to be there, who went home. There was one guy still there. He took photographs that they still show today, and this is where it really finished, because the vicar was still keen on getting him, and we went along. We went to France to see the original writer's wife, get permission and all that to go along with it. And Hancock, while we were in Paris, Hancock would be walking along with us, and suddenly would just disappear. And we look around and we'll wait, and about a couple of minutes later, he would be with us again. He'd been in for a quick one and all that. And I think after this, I think.
Well, gradually, Leslie Brickers, who wrote
he got the message, didn't he?
Yeah, and also he was going to rewrite the music, because he said it's not right for Tony, who was taking singing lessons incidentally and dancing lessons. And he went back to America to do some work that he'd contracted to do, and then he was going to rewrite the music. And I think it was Dr. Dolittle, I think it was he did. And by the time he got back to this country and to start work again, Tony was really gone, and it never transpired. As a matter of interest, the script with Noah has never been done. So, how do you fancy it?
Yeah. I've been I was practicing my singing tonight for the very purpose.
So with the day off, Tony's passed on it. Why didn't you give it to someone else, or was that just not done?
Because Brickers went back to America to do this thing, and we lost. He was out there for a long time. And
With
we
the
lost
day off. With the
day,
film
well, we never
script.
showed. I think the reason why was because it was written for Tony.
Yeah.
In a very short space of time, we did comedy play. Steptoe came out of it. Steptoe became a big hit, so we were writing a few series of that. I think we wrote 8 series altogether. And the day off just stayed in the filing cabinet, and we thought, well, that's it really. It's never going to see the light of day.
And now it has.
Well, and Christopher Stevens, who wrote the book that we're trying to flog afterwards, and he did a wonderful job on writing it. He's here tonight. He found Malcolm Chapman of the Tony Hancock Appreciation Society first came across it. We was refiling our system, which was a bit antiquated. And he came across it and read it, and he flipped. But we thought, well, he's a fan, so But he showed it. He told Chris Stevens about it. Chris went down into the vault and found it and said, "This is great." And then suddenly Dick Fiddy heard about it, and it suddenly took off, and it suddenly came to light. Really, it came to life again.
And it's someone's optioned it.
And this is, as I
hasn't
say,
it?
first time we've heard it.
So someone's optioned it.
We've
So
had
it might actually happen.
It might actually
I
happen.
wonder who will play Hancock.
Well, you'll have to shave that beard off, I tell you.
Now, Tom, you've played Peter Cook. You've played John Cleese. You've played David Frost.
Not all tonight.
No, not all tonight. Now you've played Hancock. You're like Michael Sheen with better shoes.
And a better beard.
Yeah. How did you feel a bit daunted about this evening?
Yeah, completely and utterly terrified. Would be a good way to put it. But I think I don't know. There's something about when I read it actually when I first was asked about it. Bill asked me to read Harry, and I just read it, and I couldn't get away from the Hancock lines, and I asked him if I could do it, and he said, "Yeah, go on." and I was delighted because my dad, who's here tonight, we used to watch Hancock reruns and every episode of Steptoe, which he was always glued to. You know.
Where is it? Where?
And he's right in the middle there. So this is
There
an
you go.
early 80th birthday present from my dad.
Oh, he's younger than us.
He's younger than he's a mere pipsqueak. So, but so I had it sort of because it was in there from when I was in a kind of a very small boy. I could always sort of hear Hancock in my head, so I couldn't resist it. And,
So did you rewatch stuff to prepare? Or?
yeah, I invaded YouTube and did a lot of stuff that you'd be interested to know is up there, and watched a lot of old episodes. Yeah, which was great. So I'm delighted. You know, it's fantastic. It feels like I've come full circle.